rose to power in 2021 with a calm voice and a promise of change.
Mimi, Samia Suluhu Hassan.
Samia Suluhu Hassan, Tanzania's first woman to lead the nation, stepped into the State House with a message of healing.
Naapa kwamba nitakuwa mwaminifu kwa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania.
The world clapped, but as the October 29, 2025 elections loom, whispers on the ground and across social media paints a darker picture.
Wakanivua nguo zote, nikabaki uchi.
Nilichofanyiwa na kuonyesha picha za mwili wangu. Naomba nionyeshe picha moja tu ambayo hiyo ndio iko katika mwili wangu. Ni mwili wote uko hivi.
They call her Africa's most feared female leader, more dangerous than the bulldozer Magufuli himself. But why? Let's find out. You see, when Samia Suluhu took power in 2021 after Magufuli's sudden death, she promised change. Her 4 R's, reconciliation, resilience, reforms, rebuilding, won hearts. She freed political rivals, brought back rallies, and let silenced journalists get back to work. Praise flowed from abroad. Tundu Lissu credited her for opening the space that Magufuli had buried.
I think the first 100 days of Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan's administration have been, on the whole, positive. And therefore I would say, if we were talking of how optimistic I am, there is, on my part at least, some guarded optimism.
Her identity mattered. A soft-spoken woman from Zanzibar leading a nation long dominated by strong men created its own spotlight.
And I think within the course of 1 year, I've shown the women power that I led the country in the same way men did, and in some circumstances more than they did. So
progress seemed possible. Then the script flipped.
Must go. Samia 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 must go.
Ahead of the October 29, 2025 elections, Suluhu now sits on a very different reputation. Commentators call her Africa's most feared female president. Opponents describe her as a dictatoress, using methods colder and cleaner than Magufuli's heavy machinery. The global handshake stays warm while her internal critics vanish. And that combination gives her reach and makes the threat harder to spot until it hits.
Anza kunichapa vibao, lakini wakainua miguu yangu wakaikunja. Kwa hiyo wakaanza kunichapa kwenye nyayo zote. Walinipiga sana kwenye nyayo. Baadaye wakaninamisha, wakanichapa matakoni sana na mgongoni. Sema, wewe unafanya, kwa nini mnafanya maandamano na kwa nini mnahamasisha watu kuiteka nchi? Nyinyi mnaweza kuiondoa CCM madarakani? Nikamwambia sisi hatuna haja. Tulikuwa tunakuja mahakamani kwa sababu kiongozi wetu amekamatwa. Wakaniambia sasa tunataka kuwaonyeshe kwamba hii serikali sio ya kuchezea. Kwa hiyo nilipigwa sana. Nikapigwa sana.
Na hiyo dhahama pia. Walipiga sana hapa. Walipiga sana kwenye hiyo kiungo hapo na huko chini na chini kwenye mkanani. Ndio maana mmeniona na kichemea.
Freedom House downgraded Tanzania to not free by 2025 with a score of 33% out of 100. Amnesty International reports over 83 abductions since 2024. Opposition figures vanish, families are targeted, even churches, 2,000 of them shattered for daring to criticize her. Take Humphrey Polepole, a former ambassador turned critic, abducted in 2025. Hours before his press conference, his sister was kidnapped too. Or Ali Kibao, an opposition leader found dead after disappearing. Acid attacks on young critics, arrests at courthouses like Chadema's John Heche, and just weeks before the polls, social media platforms, for instance Twitter, Telegram, Clubhouse, were blocked. Even the Citizen newspaper was hit with a fine for subversion. No heavy bulldozer here.
Tunataka katiba mpya watu wote, tunataka katiba mpya, tunataka katiba mpya. Nenda muulize wewe kifungu gani cha katiba kinakuudhi? Hajui. Hajui. Au unataka nini kibadilike? Maana yake ndio tunataka mpya tu. Sasa mpya ilete nini? Unajua ndio hivyo, ndio maendeleo. Nani kasema maendeleo yanaletwa na kitabu kilichotungwa kikaikwa hapa? Kama kuheshimu vitabu tungeheshimu vya dini. Tungeheshimu vitabu vya dini, si ndio vya kuheshimiwa? Wangapi tunavikiuka hatuviheshimu? Na huwezi kuheshimu kitabu mpaka ukijue maana yake.
Now this is a slow, deliberate slice that removes dissent quietly while the global audience applauds the show on the surface. But why is Samia Suluhu more dangerous than a Magufuli? You see, Magufuli was an open book. Magufuli ruled loudly. He banned outlets, jailed journalists in batches, and framed opponents as national enemies. His brutality was easy to document. However, Suluhu applies pressure through procedure. She keeps laws close and uses them to squeeze one opposition figure at a time. Treason charges for campaign speeches, terrorism clauses for WhatsApp posts, whole parties removed from ballots on paperwork grounds. She restored social media freedoms early, then tightened the net when eyes turned away. Local analysts call it repression with receipts. But that's not it. Samia's strategy hits where attention lives, for instance, through the pop culture. Tanzania's biggest musicians have become her chorus line. Diamond Platnumz, Harmonize, and Zuchu, and almost 90% of Tanzanian celebrities keep the airwaves saturated with praise, branding her Mama Samia, the protector of calm.
Tanzania ya Mama Samia inang'arang'ara.
Their performances at CCM rallies, her ruling party since 1961, project a nation united. However, on the opposite side of CCM, users argue that these artists are being paid to polish the president's image, while the country endures sharp tax hikes and dozens of enforced disappearances since 2024. But why do artists comply? Well, it's pure and simple. Decline to comply and you are marked. The National Arts Council, BASATA, operates as Suluhu's cultural enforcer, policing creativity under the guise of regulation. Rapper Nay, the true boy, found out the hard way. Last September, he released Nitasema, a track condemning abductions and political cowardice. BASATA summoned him. The song was banned. His career effectively blacklisted. Then there is Shadrach Shaula, a portrait artist jailed for 2 years after banning Suluhu's image on video.
Lisiasilike na ushoga. Hii video inakuhusu wewe mwenyewe na sio mtu mwingine. Na ili ujue kama Mungu wangu ni mkubwa, aliyenituma kuja kuifanya hii kazi ni mkubwa zaidi yako, nakwambia paka mahala ambapo ninatokea, napatikana mkoani wa Mbeya, wilayani Rungwe, kijiji cha Ntokela. Ukifika tu unanikuta. Na hii ni oda ya Mungu, wapi inaendelea.
Public donations bought his release, but the signal was unmistakable. Challenge power and the systems will crush you. Now, the October 29th vote is already compromised. The voter roll has jumped to 37.7 million, a suspicious 26% leap from 2020. The Electoral Commission, firmly aligned with the ruling CCM, has cleared only Samia Suluhu while shutting out major challengers from Chadema and ACT Wazalendo. With few observers allowed, platforms blocked, and dissents disappearing, the landslide is pre-engineered. Her campaign message, work and dignity, clashes with the reality of higher taxes and widespread youth unemployment in a country where young people make up the majority. Online, boycotts campaigns grow louder, and some users point to the uprising scene in Kenya and Madagascar as a preview of what could follow.
Tunahitaji vijana waliokuwa jasiri, wasiokuwa waoga, vijana waasi dhidi ya mfumo uliokuwa mbovu na kandamizi. Maandamano ya tarehe 23 ya mwezi wa 9 ni maandamano dhidi ya uasi wa mauaji.
As Tanzania approaches elections day, the outcome is already set. The real story begins afterwards. Will President Samia Suluhu strengthen her hold on power, or will a pressured population decide its patience has run out? Well, what are your thoughts? Leave your thoughts in the comment section. That is it for now. Thanks for watching. Let's meet next time. Bye-bye.